So I have some questions. Are we open? Are we ready? Let's see who can do. Carwin, I think this is a great question for you. Could you please tell me, how does an online dental program differ from an in-person? If I'm in person, I get to do like hands-on stuff, right? What am I doing online? How am I going to learn?
Yeah, I think that the way the program is set out is very unique in that the students are actually in dental offices week 4 of the program. So, I mean, there's no better hands-on than actual real life situations in the dental office. So that part is a little unique that we're not working on. Dexter's we're actually chairside with real patients. So there's no better experience than that way. Theory wise, it's the exact same thing, only a different location. So anything that you would have learned in a classroom, now you're learning on a Zoom call. So instructors, we have mannequins and models just like you would have in a classroom. It's just done through a camera.
That's awesome. So you used the word Dexter. Now, when I think of that, I think of that horrible show on TV with all the blood and gore. But I'm hoping maybe you can tell me what a Dexter is,
Yes.
and as a student, what I would expect from my Dexter.
I'm probably dating myself because 25 years ago, when I was in assisting program, we called them Dexter. Now they're called mannequins. But it is a full set of teeth. It has lips. Unfortunately, it doesn't have a tongue and it can't talk back. But we are able to practice all of the skills: placing rubber dam, placing Tofflemeyers, polishing, doing suctioning. We're doing everything that we can to practice on those mannequins. So when the students are on campus for their 4 weeks of evaluation, most of it is done with the mannequins. They also have an opportunity to come to campus and do some practice as well, and that's all done with the mannequins. Until they pass certain skills, the second part of their evaluation, the last couple of days, they're working on each other. And then finally, if they pass all of those stages, they get to work on real live people the last day on campus.
Excellent. And Stephanie, I saw you waving a Dexter around. Could you want to show us a little bit so we understand what we're talking about here as we move through?
So I have my Dexter here, who's formerly known as Gertrude. So they are named on campus. So Dexter, movable jaw, everything, lips, cheeks, just no tongue there. So basically simulates your mouth there. Easy to place dental dams, clamps, impressions, or max impressions, or mandibular impressions, Tofflemeyers, even just practicing positioning, operator positioning versus assisting positioning and ergonomics. Dexter helps us a lot with that.
Excellent. Thank you, Steph.
And of course, if you're coming in Halloween, we'll have Halloween Dexter for you.
Awesome.
All fun, as Chantel said.
It should be. Learning should be fun. It's how we learn best. Sarah, I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about the HARP program. How do I get into the HARP program?
So having an initial conversation with me is a good start. And a thing that I like to find out is if you're coming as an international dentist and you'd like the HARP certification to help elevate in your professional career and start working as a dental assistant, or if you've been a dental assistant for 3 years or so, and that's something that is going to help you in your professional development. We begin by going through the schedule and seeing if that's something that you can commit to. Most of it's online and self-directed, but then to commit to coming to the Ottawa campus on either Tuesdays and Thursdays or Saturdays and Sundays. Then from there, it asks for a piece of photo ID to verify that's indeed you. And then completion of our entrance evaluation. I also, if you are an internationally trained dentist, providing us with some sort of degree or diploma and an original transcript. So WES evaluation is always great. And if you're applying as a dental assistant, having the dentist write some sort of rules or responsibilities that you complete in the dental office, then we can use that towards your application.
Awesome. Thank you, Sarah. So the program is 4 weeks for HARP, right? It's 4.
Yes, if I failed to mention that, it is 4 weeks.
Thank you. Stephanie, can you tell me a little bit about what happens in the lab? So we've talked about the online portion, and students come online every day and they do some theory learning with us. But we know that they're going to come to the lab for at least 4 weeks. I believe it's 2 weeks and 2 weeks, 2 weeks in the middle and 2 weeks at the end. Can you talk a little bit about what it is we learn when we're in the lab?
Correct. So absolutely. For part one, the first visit to campus, the first 2 weeks during weeks 24 and 25, they're learning their level 1 chairside skills. So we're refining that, learning how to take impressions, pouring up impressions, trimming them, making sports guards, whitening trays, custom trays. We're learning how to suction properly, how to pass instruments, single-handed instrument transfer versus two-handed instrument transfers, how to do that safely and properly. Instruments, knowing what the instruments are actually used for, the names of the instruments, not just the little terms that we use in dental clinics like finger pickers and stuff. Proper names and terms for all the instruments. We're learning reprocessing sterilization, again, showing us what they've learned out in the office. We're refining that techniques here, maintaining sepsis while we're doing everything as well. We also get to do radiography on campus for the first 2 weeks that they're here. First week, they're learning how to do the paralleling technique with RIN equipment. And then the second week, they're learning the bisecting technique, both capped off with full mouth series exams, so that they can pass and show that they're sufficient and able to take their x-rays.
Awesome. It sounds really exciting. Wow. Thank you, Steph.
It's a lot of fun. Students have a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thank you. Chantel, I have a question for you. If I want to become a dental office administrator, or maybe I'm thinking that I want to work in a doctor's office, any advantage one versus the other?
Well, hours, first thing I think of. So obviously, if we're looking at that medical office administration course, we're looking at possibilities of, having night shifts and doing all that. The lovely part about a dental administration program is there's not very many dental offices that are open at midnight. So you probably won't have to. You might have a couple of evenings, you might have a Saturday here or there, or you might get lucky enough to work for a dentist that is on call and you might have to do a Sunday. But all in all, your hours as far as dental administration goes, you're going to be during the day. So that's the first thing I think of. What's the bonus in comparison to medical and dental? It's definitely hours. I mean, to be quite honest, in the dental field, we are making a bit more of a salary than we see in the medical side.
Awesome.
So that's definitely another, perk to becoming a dental administrator.
Awesome. Thank you, Chantel. Carmen, can you please tell me, are the students certified dental assistants when they finish the program?
Not right away when they're finished. We prepare them to write their examinations, the National Dental Assisting exam. They write that, and then once they pass that, they can register with the Ontario Dental Assistants Association, and then they could be called certified dental assistant. And what's really nice with Willis is Willis in their tuition provides the exam fee. So the exam fee is, I think the last time I checked, over $700. So coming on the end of a program, students, are anxious, and sometimes that delays them from writing the exam. So, we feel the fastest they can write that, it's fresh, they've just come off campus practicing those level 2 skills. So the quicker they can write that, the more successful they're going to be. And they also don't have that pressure of the fees that's been built in their tuition. So we help them get registered. We supply the letters for them to get registered for that exam. And we, again, encourage the very, very first writing that they can do that after they graduate, they'll be the most successful.
Awesome. Thank you. So if I understood correctly, Taryn, just let me make sure that I'm on the same page. As part of tuition, we include the fee for the NDEAB exam, so that at the end of the program, the student doesn't have to worry about finding extra money.
Right.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Craig, are you able to tell me a little bit about the Dental Assisting Distance program? How long is the program and how do I get into the program?
Mhm. So the program is a 44-week program. So that's putting it at about 10 and a half months. It's a hybrid program. It's a combination of dental clinic hours, online theory, and time spent on our Ottawa campus. For admissions, all applicants complete 2 dental assessments. This is a dental literacy assessment and a dental questionnaire. And then along with that, we can look at 3 different ways for applying for the program. So Canadian high school or post-secondary education, overseas education completed in English with a WES or ICAS credential, or if you're applying as a mature student, Willis College has its own equivalency assessment that we can send to students. And just like Sarah said, along with that, a conversation with somebody in admissions just to make sure that you are set for student success in the program.
Awesome, thank you. So I keep hearing about hands-on and the labs, and I know that the labs now are midpoint and at the end. Throughout my program, those first 20 weeks, am I doing any hands-on during that time?
Yeah, there's actually many opportunities for hands-on. So right away, like I said, on week 4, they're in dental offices. So they're encouraged to, maybe whatever the office would like them to start with, sterilization or at the front desk, and then eventually move to chairside. But the campus has a fully operational dental clinic with 6 operatories. All of the supplies needed, everything that's taught in theory, again, can be practiced on campus. Students have access to an instructor while they're there, so it's one-on-one. They can spend some time in the radiography operatories as well, practicing radiography skills. So the clinic is there and open for them. And the more hands-on experience they can get, the more successful they're going to be starting off in their dental assistant career.
Awesome, thank you so much. So obviously, as part of what we do here at Willis College, not only do we train you for hands-on and ensure that you have all your theory, but ultimately what we want is to get you hired at the end of your journey with us. Our success is gauged by the higher rates of our students. Chantel, is there a lot of positions as a dental office administrator right now in Ontario?
Yes, actually there is. There's quite a large want or need for them. We're finding, and it can be from simple like receptionist, and I say that simple receptionist, I mean it in, sort of that's the where they start, all the way up to like finance coordinators to actually being a full practice administrator. But to open into the dental administration world, definitely we are seeing a huge need for them right now, and a need for ones that have a good solid background to be successful. And that's of course what we want to do at Willis, is give them that, so that when they walk into they walk into a dental office, they have everything they need to be successful at that job, to be able to move up quickly, to be able to become that office manager sooner than someone else who doesn't have the same education that they do.
Okay, beautiful, thank you. What about dental assistants, Taryn? Are there lots of opportunities?
Yes, the latest reports that we're getting are always, a year behind, but being with dental and seeing lots of students in the offices, we're just hearing that dentists are really desperate and crying for dental assistants. And the way that this program works, I think, is even better, is that students are not relocating. Some of them are working in dental offices already that just don't have their qualifications. So they're, that really good receptionist or that really good sterilization queen, as they call them sometimes, that now can not be disrupted. They can still have their jobs. They can still have their families where they are, and nobody's moving, and they're able to get that certification at the end, which in the end, is it helps them with like higher pays, job security, but Ontario has a real shortage of dental assistants. You can just go on Indeed and look at dental assisting, and you'll find pages and pages and pages of job and want ads. Our Ontario Dental Assistants Association is constantly putting articles about the shortage in that. And I don't think at this point in the near future it's going to get any better. So that's great for anybody who wants to be a dental assistant. There's lots of job opportunities out there.
Thank you. So while you were speaking, I Googled Indeed for dental office administrator. 335 jobs in Ontario right now. And I just put in dental office administrator. That's kind of cool to know, I think. So one of the things that we're doing here at Willis, if a student already has, or if a guest already has, their medical office administrator diploma. So we've got a fabulous foundation. We've learned medical terminology, anatomy, accounting, all kinds of other really cool stuff to work in a doctor's office or a specialist office. But with medical office, you can't work in a dentist office. But what you could do is add the dental office administrator to your medical office diploma. Chantal, can you speak a little bit about what that would look like? I believe it shortens the program by about half, right?
Yes, I believe it does if you've taken it recently, right? If it's been within the last little bit, you'd only be taking the actual dental core program. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it does. But what it teaches you, you're still doing anatomy and physiology, but you're very directed at the head. You know, we don't have to go over the legs again. We're just going to worry about the head this time, you know? So yes, it is an absolute amazing addition to your medical office, simply because you did learn all that really great stuff, and what you learned about the leg and what you learned about the heart, you know, really still comes into play when we talk about dentistry. So you're just gaining more and more, you know, I call it encyclopedia information that is only going to make it better for you. So I certainly, you know, feel that any of the students that have done the MOA program and are looking to get out of that, you know, those overnights that they have to do in the hospital or whatever, that this is an awesome opportunity and it can be done in a shorter amount of time.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So our guests tonight, if you want to ask any questions of anyone on our panel, please type your question into the Q&A box. That will show up for me and I'll be able to ask the question on your behalf. Anyone on the panel will be able to answer it. So if you have any direct questions that you would like to ask, please just type it into the Q&A box. We'll be more than happy to answer them for you. In the meantime, Taryn, are you able to speak a little bit? If I took the dental office administrator program and then I wanted to become a dental assistant, or a dental assistant and I wanted to become a dental office administrator, can I do that?
I always like to say that dental assistants are like the air traffic controller of the dental office. And we tend to hop into all of those positions. The flow from front desk, the flow to back. So any more knowledge that you can have in all of those departments. One, if I was a hiring dentist, of course, I would want to see a staff member that can be easily put into all of those positions. Also, when you're scheduling appointments, you know, the receptionist schedules patient in a certain way that meets the schedule. The assistant in the back then knows, okay, that patient was booked there for this reason. Billing, you can talk about insurance in the back to the patient. So anytime that you can have kind of a vast knowledge of all of the departments in a dental office is only going to better yourself in your career, but also better the office that you're working in.
Thank you. Craig, if I'm going to take the dental assisting program in Ottawa campus, do I have to live close to Ottawa?
So for the Ottawa campus, we have 2 weeks in the middle of the program and 2 weeks at the end of the program when you're on the Ottawa campus full-time in the lab with your instructor and with your students. So you don't necessarily have to live in Ottawa, but if you have transportation, if you know friends or family in Ottawa, or if you can arrange something like an Airbnb with some of your other classmates that might live outside of Ottawa, you can complete the program if you live, relatively far away. When you have to complete your clinic hours, you work with us to arrange a clinic somewhere in your community. So you're doing online learning independently, you're completing your 100 clinic hours at a dental office in your community, maybe even, where you go to the dentist.
Okay, so I could live in Sudbury, I could study from Sudbury, I could do my dental hours in Sudbury, but come to campus for the 2 weeks in the middle and the 2 weeks at the end.
Definitely. And Stephanie can tell us she's had students and graduates from, all over Ontario go through the program.
Awesome. Good. Thank you. Stephanie, what do you think are the key characteristics of a good dental assistant?
Outgoing, friendly, reliable, responsible, respectful. I could go on. Very knowledgeable, willing to multitask is the biggest thing, because as those of us that are in the field, even though we might be sitting chairside suctioning, we're thinking 3 or 4 steps ahead. What's the next thing going to happen? What's the next thing I have to get? Or thinking about the next patient that we have booked in half an hour and all that. So definitely able to multitask and then not show our stress by doing that. Schedules change. You have to be able to go with the flow on a daily basis for a dental assistant. So if you can handle all that, welcome to the world with us.
Awesome. Thank you. Sarah, after I complete the heart program, am I certified?
You are, yes, and you do not need to recertify. That is something that you can take with you.
Oh, that's incredible. Okay. And how often do Willis College run the heart program?
It's about every month or so, but in some cases, we'll offer it more often. It's a very, very busy program. High in demand, for sure.
Do we limit the number of students available to the program at any one time?
We have 10 students in each class, and it is always full.
Okay, so if I'm not in the first 10, I'm going to wait for the next date. I understand. Okay. And what about the dental assisting program? Do we have a limit on the number of students we can take for that program, Craig?
Yes, so we have a limit of 18 students for the dental program. Just like HARP, this is another program that's often full at Willis College. And our intake dates will begin about every 7 to 8 weeks. So you have a lot of opportunities to join this program. You don't necessarily have to rush into a semester or wait a long time for another semester.
Okay, so I could start now and then again in another start in 8 weeks and so on?
That's right. So October 30th, we'll be beginning a session very soon. You're going to have another opportunity in January and March to do the program.
I understand. That's awesome. Thank you. Why would I want to be a dental assistant or a dental office administrator? Do I need to like teeth? Taryn?
Well, it definitely helps if you like looking at beautiful smiles, like Chantel said. So I was accepted into nursing and dental assisting, and I of course chose dental assisting 25 years ago. And you kind of get the best of both worlds. There's patient care, there's that bedside manner with patients. There's also a bit of artistic part of it. And the other thing too is with level 2 is you get to have your own patient and do your own things. So some assistants have had their own rooms where they do children's hygiene appointments and emergency appointments and impressions and things like that. So there's an opportunity to kind of work on your own, but you also have that nurturing, caring, getting people out of pain, getting that child who's scared to come to the dentist and then get them through that appointment. It's very rewarding in that way.
Excellent. Love that. Thank you so much. Just going to remind our guests that if they do have any questions, just typing it into the Q&A in their panel is the best way to ask a question of us. If you're having trouble, you can also use the chat box if that helps. I know sometimes Q&A can be hard to find. So there's a Q&A box or a chat box. Either one will be more than happy to answer your question. Craig, how do I find more information on any of these 3 programs that you've brought to our attention tonight?
Okay, so the best way to get information on these programs would be to talk to somebody like me or Autumn or Sarah or Rob, who you see in the chat. So you may already be connected with these admissions advisors. So you can send them a message if you have follow-up questions. You can go to williscollege.com, or you can send a message to our chat here. Let us know that you'd like to connect. That way you don't have to go back to a website. We can reach you directly and help you get started with any admissions questions, more course details, anything like that.
Awesome. And Craig, do you know if these programs are all eligible for Ontario student loan?
So the programs themselves eligible for Ontario student loans, as long as other funding sources in Ontario. Everything depends on individual circumstances. So we have financial aid advisors to help you learn about what your best options are in Ontario and what might be available.
Okay, and the HARP class is not covered by Ontario student loan. That is a class that has to be paid for by the student themselves. So maybe Stephanie, I can ask you this question that came in. Can you give some details about the practice classes for HARP certification?
Absolutely. So when you come to campus, it's basically riding a bike again, remembering how to take your paralleling periapicals and bite wings. We start with the anterior, we work in the posterior. We try to remember what exposures, what teeth are in each x-ray. So a lot of hands-on practice. We have mounting exercises that we have to do where we prescribe 9 various x-rays that you have to expose. We have, of course, like I mentioned, some full mouth series exams. Sorry, none of our favorite things, but they are timed as well so that we can show that we're quick and efficient in the clinics. And it's practice at your own pace. We tell you guys that we would like to have 10 exposures done for the course of the evening or the course of the afternoon, and we work on those with you. You take an x-ray. If there's an error, can you identify what the error is, whether it's foreshortening, elongation, cone cuts, and then how would we correct it? We problem solve together, and then you try to take the exposure again without the errors. So a lot of hands-on practice. It's a lot of practice, refining our skills and our techniques.
Awesome. Thank you, Steph. Are there any other questions from our guests? Please don't hesitate to use the Q&A to ask any questions about any of the 3 programs. That is our Dental Assisting Distance program, our Dental Office Administrator program, and our HARP Dental Radiography. Yay, I got it right, program. We'd be more than happy to answer anything that you might have to ask us. I thank all of my panel for joining me this evening. So sorry for my issues at the beginning. My Zoom just decided today it didn't want to cooperate with me, but we did get up and running, and that's the most important thing. Thank you for being here and for being available to speak to our guests tonight. It has been my pleasure to have you all with me. What I will say is that any of our guests who have any further questions, I'll just give them to the right person and send an email. So thank you so much for joining us, and please take lots of care. Oh, question just came in. If you can't find a dental clinic in your community, will you help us? Of course we will. That's the whole point of what we do. Stephanie, do you want to talk about the brand new process we have for helping students with their clinic search?
Absolutely. So even prior to your program, we meet once a week and we talk about options or how we go about securing an office placement at a host office, what questions we should ask, arm yourself with information about the various clinics in your areas, what services they provide before you go in for your interview. And we ask that students, go out and find at least 5 or 6 places, because you may not get accepted right off the first office that you go into. But then once the course starts, and if you haven't secured an office placement, you'll work with the school and we will help you find an office near enough to where you live, near enough to the school campus, so that you will be able to start on time. So you're never alone. We're here to help you guys, as Bonnie has said many times.
We have a fabulous letter that you're able to take to the dentist office. We're going to guide you through how to have that conversation, even what to wear and how to have that initial phone call. We have a fabulous checklist that you're going to take to the dental office. We're going to make sure you have everything so that this is a nice, smooth transition, so that on week 4, you are ready to go at 10 hours a week, hopefully, in your dental office. Chantal, did you have a question? No, oh, sorry. I thought I saw your hand go up, my dear. It's okay, no
Dancing,
problem.
Bonnie.
I'm so happy. Once again, I thank you all for being here tonight. It was my pleasure to host and have you all answer these fabulous questions. Thank you so much. And thank you for all you do for our dental students. Take care, everybody. Good night.